You're tuned into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
Hey. Hello, guys. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I'm Bryant. Next to me, wait. I am Bryant.
I'm not Eddie.
You're not Eddie. I'm not Eddie, but I'm in Eddie's seat. Of course, here via remote, our good friend and great reporter, Edgar. Hello, Edgar.
What's up, guys?
On the ones and twos, Chuyazo.
Hey, what up?
And a surprise appearance. Is this a surprise? Yeah, you haven't been here in a while, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's twice in a week for me.
I think we're all surprised. Is your mic on?
All right. Yeah, should be.
Should be on.
I'm surprised.
There you go. There you go. And right next to me is Spenny. Hello, Spenny.
Can I be Adrian today?
You want to be Adrian today?
Yeah.
What do you want? So you're hardly here, so.
I don't want to make more enemies to the Spenny name.
All right.
Apparently, there's a Facebook Spenny and a Instagram Spenny.
What is that?
I don't know. According to Alex,
There's two of you?
there's a Spenny Facebook guy who apparently isn't very friendly.
Oh, well. Just Spider-Man mean that shit.
We're working
Which
on
Spenny that I see on
Edgar's
Thursday?
audio. I don't know why it's not coming through.
Well, in the meanwhile, while you get that going, last night, your LA Galaxy played against Toronto FC in a dress rehearsal before the season opener. It was on Apple TV. Finally, they let us watch a preseason match, which would have been a little bit more helpful if we saw the other ones to maybe see what the team is going to be putting on the pitch next weekend.
Good.
But aside from that, they played. But first, before we get into the game, it's somebody's birthday. He's not here. He's feeling a little under the weather. But shout out to Eddie. Happy birthday,
trying
Eddie.
out for the part of Hellboy. Is that true?
Repeat that again. We still can't hear Edgar. Well, we'll get you going. But happy birthday, Eddie.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
Yeah, dude. It was on the 16th, but we were supposed to do something yesterday. But he started feeling a little off. And yeah, he's not available tonight, but our thoughts are with you, and the celebration continues with your birthday, good sir. No, wah. I'll do it myself. Wah.
I'm still working on this.
Yeah, nah, we got you. But yeah, happy birthday, Eddie. Also, I don't know if you watched this, Spenny. Elimination Chamber was last night.
I didn't. I was busy watching the LA Galaxy live in person in the stadium.
Oh, you were at the stadium?
Yes, I was.
Ah, perfect.
Yes, I
So
was.
we get to ask you questions later on about this. But anyway, Elimination Chamber. It was actually a pretty good event. Are you going to watch it later?
Yeah.
Also, no spoilers?
I already know what happened. I
all
told you what was going to happen.
With the whole Sami Zayn not ended up winning. Of course not. But the thing is, the way they ended that match is pretty good.
Everything.
Did you think, what's his name? Austin Theory was going to retain the title?
Hey, how about that? How about like 2 months ago, you asked me what my ideal
Wrestling?
elimination chamber was, and the first thing I said was no Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And I got 4 out of the 6 guys correct.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been dope if the ones you had said earlier, like Switchblade, would have came over.
Yeah, but Roman Reigns ain't built for no elimination chamber. He can't hang unless he comes out last, which is lame. As the champion, you're gonna be the 6th person.
But you would have to do it like that way because he's the main guy right now.
John Cena, Brock Lesnar, the first elimination chamber. No. Sorry,
Roman Reigns here, bro.
Roman Reigns, weakest run as a WWE champion.
Why you gotta hate? This has been one of the best storylines we've seen in a while.
Say
As
something,
a
Edgar?
whole faction.
As a faction, correct. He went from one faction to the next. Irrelevant in between.
Succeeded in all of them.
Hey, more power to him, man. It's a pretty weak run. Pretty weak. He hasn't put anybody over like any great champ has. I mean, who are the two most decorated champions? John Cena and Ric Flair, right? Mm-hmm. You don't become a 16-time world champion if you don't put people over. The Rock has a losing record at WrestleMania, buddy.
Yeah.
The great one.
Edgar, say something. Let me see if you got your audio back.
No.
Sorry, this is feelings, huh? This is feelings, not facts.
No facts. Folks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns is the fucking shit.
All right.
Roman Reigns really is the shit. I don't know why you guys give him enough credit. I turned from hating them the most to actually liking what the whole bloodline is right now.
You don't even give him credit. You just like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feelings, no facts. Got it.
It's just the storyline is fucking great. Can't deny that.
No, Edgar, we still can't hear you. He's asking on the chat.
Anyway, so let's get into some rumors then before we get into what.
Sorry, I just read Eddie's comment.
What do you say?
One more time, Edgar.
Roman can't get his car over a speed bump.
No, we can't get Edgar yet.
It's a good one.
Can't get over a speed bump. Anyway, let's get into some rumors before. While Chewy tries to get Edgar on here. So, from
Edgar, you can hear him on the live. We just can't hear him here.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's get to the.
You guys can hear me now?
We'll be able to hear you from the speakers. We won't be able to hear you from the headphones.
It says YouTube crowd says they can hear me on the feed.
Yeah, that's what I just.
Yeah. So we won't need the headphones right now, Spinny. So we can hear them. One on, one off.
One
I like
on,
that.
one off.
I like your style. All right. So then
it's
back
Adrian
to regularly
today.
scheduled programming.
It's Adrian today, not Spinny.
Oh yes, fucking Adrian. I forgot Adrian.
Hey, Adrian, you were talking about like the last champ that didn't put anybody over. Reminded me of Roman's run reminds me of the one Triple H had where he was just squashing everyone. Especially that one time he destroyed Booker T and everybody was hoping Booker T would win. And
you were hoping
a time where everybody
Booker
fucking
T
hated Triple H, man.
That match that you're talking about was a snooze fest and not Triple H's fault. If you want to talk about putting people over, Triple H had, he started with the Click, went to DX, and Evolution is arguably the most decorated faction of all time.
Whackers one,
you
though.
had Randy Orton, a 14-time world champion,
Oh, no.
Batista, 6-time world champion, Ric Flair, 16-time world champion. So, I mean,
Well, that was,
you want to talk
that
about
was
putting
later
people
on.
over.
I'm
He
talking
started
about, like,
NXT.
Talking about
He started
during the Attitude Era.
NXT. He got Finn Balor to be the first
Universal champion.
the first lightweight heavyweight universal champion of the world. He
Stupid
broke
injury.
the rules for Finn Balor. So
Stupid
talk about
injury.
putting people over.
No, I'm talking about Triple H when he was with China, way back when.
Yeah, DX.
Bro,
No, this was
he had
before the X.
him and The Rock had one of the greatest intercontinental rivalries of all time. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin was just smashing everybody. You're talking about an era where they went from Attitude Era to PG.
Damn,
No, this is before that.
What?
Yeah,
He was
there
in a world
there was
champion
time
before
when
that.
Triple H was just destroying everyone, and everybody fucking hated him. He was always winning by DQ, by interference.
Your
by
your
whatever.
timeline is a little off there, buddy.
Oh, was it when he was wearing pants?
99 is when he came up, but then Stone Cold Steve Austin took over after the 316 until like 20. Man, we'll talk about this later.
Somebody mentioned Tito
I can go.
Santana.
This is news across the galaxy,
Sorry.
not news across the mat.
I'm surprised I'm here.
Hey,
No,
Agent's
I
here.
agree. Roman Reigns is pretty.
You guys are just hating.
He's
Bloodline.
cool. Let him get his money and just.
Island of Relevancy. Let's go.
No more bloodline.
The tribal chief. Anyway.
Jay's gonna be the new tribal chief.
Fuck, I'd be so tight. Anyway, the LA Galaxy. Also, before playing in Toronto, they had a jersey unveiling launch thingy.
Disaster.
Disaster thingy.
That's not the word. Just
Adrian
Lier.
and Adrian and Edgar were there. Would you guys like to start off of what was the environment outside, the environment inside, seeing fans' faces?
I'm gonna let Edgar go on this because he got there on time. All I'm gonna say is this is hands down by far the worst kit unveiling party or whatever you want to call it that the team has ever had.
Damn.
Yeah, I completely agree with him. I was, man, I had no idea what to expect. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, how can you support this franchise when when you have such expectations?" I was like, I had no expectations, to be honest. Uh, Earlier in the day, I was looking at my Twitter feed, and I was looking at what was going on in Charlotte. I follow one of the Charlotte podcasts out there, CLT Fan TV, and they were giving us footage from their jersey unveiling, and they had this nice thing. We show up to their stadium. They had mood lighting in there because like the whole theme is like purple and pink, I think, this year. So they had like nice mood lighting in the stadium. They let you down on the field. There were players on the field who were there to talk to fans, sign autographs, take photos. And then once you got your shirt, you could go into like a VIP area of the stadium, and they had champagne there for all the fans. If you wanted to have, champagne and sit there and just chat, whatever. So I was like, wow, this is really nice. This is an expansion team doing this. What about the five time, MLS Cup champs,
To us,
they
the
sent us
all-time
to
winning franchise, right?
yeah, they sent us to I was telling you guys, they sent us to an area of LA that's one of the grittiest areas of LA, just a few blocks removed from Skid Row. And yes, they could say, oh, it has the same amount of metro stations, as the LA Live. But dude, when I get out of that hill metro station, I'm looking around to see if I don't get rushed. And I grew up in South Central, so I was like, man, this place is kind of gritty. Um, Anyway, I get there. For some reason, I was a fifth person in line. I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, usually G's line up for this thing, but obviously with the current state of things, there weren't that many people. There was a kid to my right who lived nearby, and he happened to be there for Chicharito, and surprise, surprise, he's a leva, and and then to my left were other Galaxy fans, and one guy was there with his kids. He's a fairly new Galaxy fan, and he was really looking forward for his kids to meet, the players and take photos with them. So there was that. There was that, right? Um, and then some of the people that we know showed up. I saw Linda Pickle, who she's older now, and she couldn't really wait in line, so she was kind of sitting on the curb there. I felt like, damn, that's pretty messed up. You're making your fans literally sit on the curve. But little by little, we started seeing some Galaxy staff showing up. Cosmo came by, who's trying to cheer people up. There were so few people in line that Joe Tutino showed up and shook everybody's hand and thanked them for showing up. And it was finally time to go in. You went in, and there was like no real pomp or circumstance. There was a few photos showing some players and some models, with the jersey. You walk into the theater. By the way, this theater is really old. It's 125 years old. They're saying how Charlie Chaplin was the first performer there. So this place has a lot of history. I remember going to that theater when I was a kid, and my uncle would take us there in the summer to watch movies. So it's been a while since I've been there. But the interior is beautiful, Art Deco styling, but you really couldn't tell because it was so fucking dark in there. It was dark. So that I was one of the first people there, so they led us to the front, and we waited and waited and waited. Finally, Joe came out, and the whole thing started. And people asked me later on what it felt like. My my lasting impression was it reminded me of like a high school play, where there's like the spotlights don't shed on the right people. There's people, you can hear people coughing in the crowd. You can hear some people chattering. You could see Cosmo peeking out from behind one of the curtains there in one of the interviews. It was just so unprofessional and so badly run. And I feel kind of bad saying that because I know there's a lot of people that work behind the scenes to make these things happen. People that really care about the team, that have nothing to do with the protests or anything like that. But somebody planned this, and somebody was supposed to be held accountable for this. And then at the end, after what was kind of like one of those cringiest things I have seen in a while, despite the great Joe Dutino, who did his best to carry the whole thing, despite Cosmo trying to be funny and trying to dance with kids, and despite having this nice jersey there, and having all the players actually on stage, even potential player Tyler Boyd, it still didn't matter. At the end, it was just felt so flat, so sad. And the worst part was that after the players were brought on stage, they left the stage, and then nobody said anything. A few people from the media went up on stage to talk to Ricky Puig, and everybody in the front is like, "Is it over? What's going on? Are we supposed to go upstage? Are the players coming down? What's going on?" I approached Joe Tutino. I asked him, and he said he didn't know what was going on. He left to go out, find out. Then I saw Adam Serrano, and I asked him what's going on. He said he didn't know what was going on, but then he said the players left already. And I was like, "What? Weren't they supposed to be available for like autographs and photos? I mean, some of these people here were waiting for a long time." And he's like, "Well, it's just Ricky and Jalen here. If you guys want to try to wave them down, but there's no guarantee they'll come down." And at that point, the people in the crowd started to realize that all of that wasn't going to happen. And then everybody just slowly just trickled out of that dark, sad place. And then they went out to the right into the Grand Central Market to get their shirts, which you could get from the basement of the Grand Central Market. And I was telling the guys that in the past there was lines right to get the New Jersey. I remember for the last one that we had at the Novo, there was a long line for that. And then I thought, wow, I'm gonna have to wait in a long line. When I finally went in there were like 10 people that had they were signing the jersey, and I just walked up to the first one that was open. Here to buy my shirt. They're like, "Yeah, here you go. Thank you, bye." And I walked out, and I was like, "Wow, that was it. That was it." And then there was a bunch of other people that had shown up to protest, and they were sitting there in Grand Central Market, eating, having drinks, and mingling, and everybody was just chatting. But it was just so strange. It was a sad, very sad event. I saw Spenny there. I mean, I waved him down. We said hi. We talked for a bit, but I don't know. There's such a disconnect with what's going on here. Who the hell do you blame for this? You can't say it's Chris Klein.
No,
I mean, there's got to be somebody else because I don't think Chris Klein gave the order like, "Oh, yeah, make it as cheap as possible, cut corners and and try to make it as like a really this deplorable event." But in the end, I don't know. I felt really sad. It had all a feeling of like a funeral kind of sort of. And you think about how things are right now, the team's getting buried.
I wouldn't say all that. I have
Not
a
a
little bit
funeral?
different
Anyway,
perspective.
That's just me, but I'm gonna throw it over to Spenny because he has a different point of view. So let's hear what you have to say.
I see what they try to do, but it missed the mark by far. And I don't think that the person that had the idea or the final say, I don't think they're an LA native. If they were and they picked that spot, they wouldn't have started at 6.
Knowing the traffic, knowing
It's in the middle
how
of
hard it
downtown
is.
LA.
Yeah, how hard it is to get in there.
There's a bunch of one-way streets.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody in the chat, anybody that listens to us, you could put me blindfolded in downtown LA, and I'll probably find my way around myself. But for somebody that's not familiar with the area, during rush hour, I mean, you get off at what, 5:30, 6? You're not making it there on time. You know, I left my job like at 5:20, 5:15, and I didn't get there till 6 on the dot. But I had to find parking.
Yeah.
So by the time I got inside, somebody was already talking with Joe, and then Chicharito came on. Chicharito spoke maybe 5 minutes. They did the video. Everybody came out, and it was over. The whole event was less than 25 minutes, 30 minutes. What would you say, Edgar?
Yeah,
It was
like
done by like
30
6:30.
minutes at the most.
I'll give you 6:45. And that's
Damn.
it. That was the event.
That doesn't even sound worth it to drive.
No, exactly. No photo ops, no decoration. It was just like scan in, go sit down.
Oh, and the DJ. There was the DJ.
But I mean,
Hey, Mr. DJ.
compared to the Novo, compared to Oktoberfest, there was
Yeah.
nothing. It was scan in, go sit down. Okay, event's over.
It was so sad. Like I said, compared to the Noble felt like very glitzy. It felt like something that worthy of the team. And this felt like
By far, yeah.
like they just got thrown to the curb or something.
I'm telling you, bro. There was nothing. There was no signs that said LA Galaxy. There was no, they at least bring the Adidas made wings.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, our teammate on Sundays, well, earlier today that we played earlier, shout out to Tony. He said the same thing basically, and from the information that he gathered on the players not being able to come out, is that the guy that does the player relations, he flaked or something like that. So he just like didn't take charge of setting everybody up to meet with the people.
What do you mean he flaked?
That was the information he gave me. Not sure what the specifics are on that, but it's just the disconnect. Like you said, that's sad, dude.
And they had a good concept. So one thing that they did is they had like a pop-up shop right next to the theater.
Yeah.
And then that was cool. All new merch, nothing from last year, not even the white jersey. It was all new merch. Some was good. I laughed at one thing that said something about our vision for the future, and in my head I was like, what vision? But they rented out multiple spots inside of Grand Central Market. They rented out one spot with a big marquee LA Galaxy kit. You were able to buy your jersey and get your number or get it customized. To touch on what Edgar said, yeah, it was kind of empty, but they also had like 18, 20 lines of where to buy jerseys. When you go to the Noble or to Oktoberfest, it was like maybe 6 lines.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more tables for you to be able to buy the jersey. They had the jersey for you to be able to touch. They had people that weren't knowledgeable of the jersey, which is what kind of pissed me off. Because I went in, I saw the jersey, and right away, I started looking at the collar. I started looking behind the crest. I started looking in the inside bottom corner. All the places where they've put, the secret messages that some people that are fans don't even know about, right?
Like this is LA of 1 year or stuff like that.
Or the saying that they had behind the crest a couple times. So I'm asking the guy like, oh, you guys don't have any secret message this year? And he didn't know what I was talking about. He tried to convince me that they never did that before. And I walked away. This dude really tried to convince me like, oh, no, the LA Galaxy doesn't do anything like that. It's just kind of like what you see. And in my head, I'm like, I got a closet full of
jerseys that have a significance
So-
behind the design that they had.
They did miss the mark with all that. It just did not feel like a party. It didn't feel like an event. I don't know. It felt like, have you ever gone to like your niece or nephew's recital?
That's what I said. I feel like
It was just
the high
like
schoolers-
kind of
not even high school,
unorganized.
middle
Like,
school.
oh, the 5th graders are coming up. All right, that was the 5th graders. Everybody get out.
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
It's just they missed the mark completely. It was bad. One thing I will say though is, I don't know, Edgar, what do you think? I would say 1 out of 5 people had the new jersey from the event.
1 out of 5. I mean, it's a gorgeous jersey. I can't lie. Edgar has it on. It's fucking gorgeous. I like it.
Compared to other years where
no,
we've gone to bigger events, I didn't see as many jerseys as some past events. So
yeah, in past events, you see everybody rocking the new shirt, and this one it was just 1 out of 5 people. Whether it was because it was really expensive,
More
which it
expensive.
was, and I'm very fortunate to be able to say I put some money aside for it, and I was kind of ready for that because I had heard, I didn't know how much it was. I actually started hearing from fans from around the league saying, "Holy crap!" I went to go get my shirt at the kit launch party, and it was expensive. They all, some people said it was anywhere from 170 to 190. Somebody said it was 200, and I was like, "Holy crap,
Fuck.
that's expensive."
Well, pretty much. It's about
and
190
then,
with tax, no number.
Yeah, if you're a season ticket holder, obviously you get that discount and it helps. But if you're not, and you're just a very dedicated fan and you want to go in there, get ready to pay the golden price. That is expensive, man. But in the end, I mean, my final thoughts on it is this beautiful, movie theater, which has seen better days. Joe Totino, who's a consummate professional, Cosmo, who we all love, and we love so much as a symbol of the team, and the players and this jersey. They did not deserve any of this. The team could have done a lot better. I said that Joe Totino was kind of left hanging out there on his own pretty much, but because he's such a great professional, he's able to compose himself and carry himself like only he can do. But despite all that,
what would have been
it's not enough.
Maybe I think 2019, the season opener, they had like a mini event where the ACB area is, and they had like a DJ, and some players came on that small little stage.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
that
When
would have
Jonah
been
was handing out beer.
yes.
Yeah,
That would have been 100 times better.
Yeah, because the players there was music. The players were out there to mingle with fans. They were taking photos. It was a lot of fun.
Even if they didn't take pictures, the fact that the kids and the fans would have been able to be that close to the players,
Yeah.
it would have made the event so much better. With this event, you were so far, there was no connection. Besides the wave, there was no interaction.
Yeah.
It was like the players were like, all right, I'm here.
Because I have to, so I don't get fined.
All right, that's it.
That's
So one of the things that I don't understand a lot of times Galaxy does, or I don't know, but we have a big ass stadium with a lot of space. We use it for events. Free parking, a lot of people already go to that stadium. You know how to get there. It's easy to get to, no problem. But then you make shit downtown. Even when they did it at when they did that movie at the Microsoft or whatever the fuck it was, they did it next to the Staples. It's like, dude, you still have to pay for parking. Go to downtown. Every time they do an event like this, like you inconvenience a lot of people. You have an area where to do it, bro. We have the stadium.
City of LA, kid, bro.
We have a club upstairs in the stadium, right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of space. You could do a lot. We have a big ass screen where you can show off a lot of things.
Chewy has a point.
Yeah, bro.
And it's cheaper.
Oh, no, he definitely has a point.
It's
but
cheaper.
I
You
think
already have your stadium.
They're going for that whole City of LA thing. I'm surprised they didn't have this at the kiosk at Plaza Olvera, man. Imagine that.
That might have been pretty cool too. You could have had a lot of people in mariachi. It's still green.
You're
Bro,
right.
You could do
take
a
pictures
lot
of the
more.
burro, right?
You could have done a lot more.
Yeah. Oh man,
You could have just
I'm sad
walked
to hear
over
that.
from Union Station.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
I'm sad to hear that though.
I wasn't surprised, man.
It's. I wonder what the reaction across the league is going to be once word gets out, because right now, we're still spreading word among ourselves, right? Galaxy fans, we're all shaking our heads like, damn, really? Is this what they did to us? But once word starts get around the league to other teams and other fan bases, they're gonna look at us and just start laughing or pointing their fingers and cringing because
Some already do. Some already do.
do.
I mean, can't even blame them. All right, well, let's get to some Galaxy stuff. There's some rumors going around. A young 20-year-old right back from Brazil being rumored to come to the Galaxy. An old left back Brazilian rumors to come to the Galaxy, which sounds like a Klein move. And then a trialist that is close to signing with the Galaxy. Vanny talked about it, so let's hear what he said real quick.
Is one of the players, one of the right backs that we have communicated with or aware of, and so he's in the short list of guys that are there. Marcelo, I'm not aware of any conversations there, just to be frank with that. Unless that changes tomorrow, there's nothing there. So, and Yuri is work in progress. He came in and he was training with the group, and I think 2 days in, he got a concussion and he was out for about 10 days, 9 to 10 days. And as of the last few days, he's back in, and so we're just working through the details on that. But he's somebody that will help the team this year, yes.
All right. So there is contact with the 20-year-old Brazilian. I've seen reports that it's a loan deal to buy. I'm guessing that will play into the under 22 initiative, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
which means they
I
would
can tell you more
need.
about the player if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just so we know who we're talking about. His name is Lucas Caligari. Just goes by Caligari, like Brazilians. That's their thing. He's a right back who spent most of it, his entire career actually with Fluminense. He joined their youth academy when he was 12 years old, and he's been with them since then. He signed his first contract with Fluminense in 2019 and made his debut with them in August 22nd of 2020. There's a Galaxy fan on Twitter who lives in Brazil, and he's very knowledgeable about the league down there. And when he started talking about when we started talking about this guy, he was very excited. He said, "Wow, this kid is really good. He's one of the cornerstones of this team." And it would hurt them a lot if they were to lose him. But if he came to the Galaxy, he would be a very fitting replacement for Julian Araujo. So hearing him say that, I was like, wow, this is the best news we could hear, because here we are losing arguably the best right back in MLS. But if you got somebody who's young and can not just come in and fill in for him, but tick a lot of other boxes that would help the team in other facets, that's a big plus. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, of course. Dude, we need depth. We are very thin in depth. Yesterday we had Leardom start, and that's the only right back we have. You could use Koulibaly in that space, but that's not his spot, right? We're going to need a pacey wingback to play whatever Vanny's trying to play with. So if he's able to come and give us half of what Julian does, then I'm all for it. What do you think, Sweeney?
I don't mind the age. It's not an issue for me. I think you might want somebody younger with the legs under them to play in the style that Vanny wants to play in. I'm more curious of his contract.
Yeah.
And how are they going to sign him? It has to be a loan deal. And it has to be a loan deal so they can keep their options open for the third DP.
Yeah.
And to clear up, because you guys got it wrong the last 2 weeks.
A ver.
If you do not have a senior third DP, you can have 3 U22 initiative players. If you sign your third or one of your 3 DPs is a young DP, you can have 3 U22 players. That's the rule.
All right. Well,
So-
you know the MLS monopoly rules.
But
Nobody gets them.
if you do pay for this kid now, then you have to put him in a U22 contract.
Yeah.
And if your third DP is not going to be a senior DP or is going to be a senior DP, then Joveljic or Efra
Alvarez, yeah.
don't qualify for the roster anymore.
And you got to tam them.
So by this kid being a loan deal, you don't have to pay a fee, which doesn't trigger the young DP or the DP slot. So that's why I'm curious of what contract he's going to get. Because my thoughts are that now that they move Julian, Efra's next.
Yeah.
Efra should be next to be moved. You sign the 20-year-old maybe to a TAM deal, and you keep Joveljic on a U22 contract so you can sign that third senior DP. Y'all caught that?
And that'd be amazing. Well, one of my this is a plus. Right now, the LA Galaxy were able to send one of their best players to a super club, Barcelona. A lot of teams in the world who want to be seen. A lot of players are going to look at that and be like, hey, maybe I could go over there, showcase my talent, and maybe they'll be able to send me to teams like Barcelona. I think whatever this transaction is going on with this young 20-year-old Brazilian who apparently is solid for Fluminense, if we get some more of those talks with other players that we can bring in, I mean, that's a great start, right?
So let me touch on it again, because Logan Jones pretty knowledgeable, and he's saying that Corner of the Galaxy says that 3 senior DPs, you can only have 122. Yes, that's what I just said. If you have 3 seniors, you can only have 1 U22. If you have 1 DP slot open, you can have 3 U22s. If you have a young DP, you can have 3 U22s. Does that make sense? No?
Check. Check, please. Yes, that makes sense.
One other thing, too, that I haven't seen or heard people talk about is Julian sale. So another thing about the U22 initiative is if you were to sell, let's say, Chicha, right? Mm-hmm. Theoretically, let's say you sell Chicha to Chivas for $6 million transfer fee. You can only use 1 point something of that for actual player acquisition. Mm-hmm. The rest can go into operations and then shared revenue with the league, right? Mm-hmm. When you sell a U22 player, you get to use the full amount to sign somebody. So Julian's transfer to Barcelona opens up an extra $4 million in cap to sell or to buy another DP now, which helps since they had to pay $1 million.
Yeah, the fines and all that.
So that's a big thing too that I don't think people are pointing out.
Yeah,
Julian is going to help us out in more way than one by leaving.
Yeah. And not just that, which is me getting to my next thing. Julian. Well, first let's talk about that Marcelo thing. Why did I even? Who popped that rumor up? Because I don't. At first, I was like, I guess we could use depth, but then he's an aging Brazilian. We already have one who can't even last 90 minutes in the match. We're gonna want another one. This just seems like another. Let's put butts in the seats type signing.
You do it.
You do it with a Marcelo? If that was an actual thing. I mean, Vanny just said that it's not. But let's say in a week from now, because the transfer whistle doesn't close till April 24th, I believe. If you're able to, you would consider bringing him an aging 34 wingback to the Galaxy.
Is that a depth piece?
It's a depth piece that could potentially take the starting role from a guy that's been playing the position for 16 months.
Raheem Edwards.
Raheem Edwards being a natural left wing gets you more options with Marcelo as the 1 or 2.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other guy, Rosell, he used to be in Kansas City. I guess he was a trialist for the LA Galaxy, and I guess they want him. I didn't see much in this last game from him, but I guess he's just another depth piece. Another player that was not mentioned by Vanny is the Tyler Boyd. I know he's probably waiting for his international whatever thing, the ITC thing. And he has been playing with the LA Galaxy. So I'm not even sure if they're allowed to mention him because he doesn't have the paperwork or anything like that. But that's another person, that you add depth on the wing, and it's something that we desperately need on this team.
Yeah, bro,
we'll talk about it right now. But speaking of Julian, he did have a message for all LA Galaxy fans. The LA Galaxy put it out, and let me give it to you guys now.
Jeez. Oh my God. Never thought I had to make a video like this, but today's the start of a new chapter of my career, and before I turn that chapter, I wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys, and I'm so proud to be a part of such a beautiful organization. I love y'all. I'm going to miss y'all. Thank you so much for the unconditional love, through the good and the bad. I will continue to cheer you guys on from afar. Can't wait to see you guys get that 6th championship, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. I love y'all. I miss y'all. Once a G, always a G.
Let's go. Damn, I miss him already, bro. We don't have like a crying thingy over there, Chewy.
Listening to Julian there, that's the voice of a guy who's like, I'm in a whole different stage of my life now. Thanks guys for the memories, but here I go.
And I love this for him, dude. He's worked hard. He is an original from the academy, right? From Arizona. He came over here
from Arizona.
Yeah, right. He was in Arizona, Barcelona Academy.
The Barcelona Academy in Arizona.
He's a home local kid. He's from Lompoc. We got to see him grow in his career. We got to yell on this show that he should have been benching Rolf Felcher for the longest. And now to see him accomplish his dream, that's pretty cool, man.
Let's not forget that the LA Galaxy signed him to a regular contract. They couldn't sign him to a homegrown contract.
Yeah.
And they just said, fuck it. Let's just pay him and get him on the first team now.
Yeah. Good for them.
That.
Because, he's been our guy.
He was our assist leader last year.
Yeah, our assist leader. And now there's room for the next Julian Araujo to step in and Jalen Neal. So we'll see how that happens. He's actually from our academy, so...
Right now, the longest tenured player is Efrain Alvarez.
Yeah. And
that's something.
Speaking of Efra, the LA Galaxy did take on Toronto FC last night at Dignity Health Sports Park.
Si era penal.
Was it? Yeah. Let's see. Did they put the lineup out? Yeah, right. I think they went with their usual 4-3-3. Of course, at goal, number 1, Jonathan Bond. At your right back, you had Leardom. Your center backs was the pairing of Jalen Neal and Mavinga. And of course, out left, Raheem Edwards. The trio, and to me, could be the potential best trio in the center midfield in all of MLS. You have Delgado, Brugman, and Ricky Puig. Up top, you have your forward Joveljic, and out wide, you have Efrain Alvarez and Memo Rodriguez. As soon as this lineup came out, what were you guys thinking? And let's put out there, Toronto put out their actual squad. They had their A squad in there, so it wasn't like, oh, it was the Suds versus whatever we had. They actually put their squad on. Bernadeschi played, Insigne played, Delgado. I mean, not Delgado.
Bro.
Osorio played, Bradley played, Mark Anthony Kay played. So they came out, ready to play because next week is the season opener. So what you got for me, Svenny? You were there.
Bernadeschi, wow. I'm going to say that. The team looked really good. When I saw the lineup, they lined it up funny. And with the people that were out there, I seriously thought they were going to do some sort of 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. Mm-hmm. But it was a 4-3-3. I texted you guys when I was there. The first 10 minutes, I thought it was a 4-2-2 because Efra wasn't pressing high. He was just kind of sitting in the middle of the field. But they look good. What I will say is that the team looks far more advanced than they did at this point last season. The connections, the 1-2s, the timing with the people that were here last year is still there. Mm-hmm. They're not missing a step. Memo Rodriguez, he is not gonna impress you off of this performance, but he did his job. And you can tell he does not have the timing down, but he knows what he's supposed to do. And the biggest thing that I liked from his movement was when Ricky Puig pushed up, even though he was playing that far left wing, he still dropped into that position. One thing that Raheem Edwards does a lot is he gets inside the 18-yard box when the ball's on the opposite side of the field. Mm-hmm. And Memo covered that whole wing well by himself. Yeah. For somebody that's not known for speed, that was really impressive from him.
Well, It's just those type of players that know how to be in the right spaces and know how to take up spaces and at the right time. To me, I think the first half was the better tell of what this team looks like heading into next weekend. Of course, we're not gonna have Tyler Boyd or that Brazilian right wing back yet, but for what we have now, I was actually impressed. One with Memo. To me, it seems like he's another Marky Delgado sign. Not flashy, but knows his role and knows his work rate and knows what the team is going to ask for him.
He's going to be a game changer for us.
I think so too. And bringing in a CM with the Roselle that Vanny spoke about, I think that's going to give the freedom for Memo to play out wide. I know he said he's played in the middle before, but since we're lacking wing depth pieces, I think Memo's going to get his run here, mostly on the wing, which I don't mind. I think early in the game, he had chipped in the pass to Efra, where he first timed it and the goalie got big on him. That is impressive on his own, which is something you want to see from your wingers.
My idea for Memo, he's just going to be a Swiss Army knife for us in the midfield and up.
Yeah.
Not defensively at all. I don't think he can drop down and play a line of 5. Mm-hmm. But he's a player that you can push up, let him play offensively, and bring him back down to help protect the lead.
Yeah.
So in those games where you might have to take Delgado out or take Brugman out, you can still play offensive with him. And once you have the lead or tied the game, you can park the bus with him.
Yeah.
Because Houston used him stupidly in the back. Like, they made him play defensively when the kid is obviously an offensive-minded player.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, fuck, then he's just that good then.
Yeah. Another thing that was... oh, my bad, Edgar. How did you see those that lineup?
Oh, we were watching the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, yeah. We were watching both.
We had both screens on, and the guy I was drinking and eating pizza, and but I don't want to digress too much. No, I was one of the things I was concerned about with the team, and that I've always been concerned about the team, is our defense, especially now since we have a young Jalen Neal stepping in, and seeing him back in the lineup makes me feel good, because we've heard Vanny say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," and then things maybe don't work out the way they're supposed to. But it seems that he's really getting back behind Jalen Neal, especially after the way he's been showing up for the U.S. national team, in the youth squads, and seeing Jalen back there, learning, getting better day by day, and hopefully growing into one of the vital pieces for this team's defense as the season unfolds, is something that I think is worthy of looking at. And I know at one point somebody asked, in our group, was like, "Hey, is Jalen Neal in the game?" And I'm like, that's a good thing that you say that, because I still stand by that whole thing where if you don't notice, if you don't ever notice a defender when you're watching a game, that means he's doing his job. It's usually when you call out some defender, like, "God damn it, Sega," or "Damn it, Siani," then somebody's not doing their job. But Jalen seems to be learning, and he's doing well. And that was one of my big concerns. And then the other concern is, of course, the whole thing was Joveljic, because Chicha's not there. So we're like, okay, can we count on him? Can we count on him to come in and do all 90 minutes? And you guys know I love Dayon, and I want to see him do great, but he hasn't scored. And then people start to raise questions like, what's going on? And this was an opportunity against TFC to prove that he can come in and be an influence on the team, like a very powerful influence. But like I said, we were busy watching one thing and the other. Spenny, you were actually there. Was there something about his position? Was there something about stuff he was doing off the ball that he wasn't able to get touches? Because one of the things I heard after was that he didn't really get to touch the ball much.
He was 1v3 most of the game.
So they were just shadowing him, and
his runs were being covered well. Their center defensive mid was dropping right in front of him to stop Ricky Puig from invading that part of the field. They wanted to keep him outside of the 18, maybe around the 25-yard line, which is why you saw Ricky Puig switching the ball over so much because he couldn't penetrate. They had like 2 defensive mids that would just sit in front of the half circle in front of the 18-yard box.
So Dejan isn't getting
So you
the ball.
pretty much had Dejan in the box, and we all know Efra's not going to make a deep run, and Memo is still getting acclimated to what Dejan can do.
Yeah.
Right? So it didn't look like he was being involved. His work rate was still there, though. He was still asking for the ball in certain places, still making his runs. It's just it was 1v3, 1v4. It should never have gotten there.
So, okay, do you guys think that's a plus then? Because he demands so much attention to what he can do inside the box.
Yeah, bro. Toronto dared somebody else to beat them.
And they did.
They prepared for Chicha, and they said, all right, we're going to lock down your forward. I dare for the rest of your team to score.
And that's exactly what Efra did.
And notice, even unintentionally, what I just said, right? Efra wasn't making those diagonal runs across the box. How did he score?
Diagonal cross about the box. And Ricky Puig found him on that one. And let's give credit to that goal that Efra scored. Something we haven't really seen him do, like you just mentioned. And even the finish, calm, cool, collective.
Our post.
He's been on record saying that he wants this year to be his year, that it has to be his year. He's also been on record saying that he got a nutritionist to help him out with his fitness. And it's something that you want to hear from your player who wants to make that jump. He already seen his peer get sold to one of the biggest clubs in Europe and Barcelona. Of course he wants to be next, right? So of course he's going to put that extra effort in to try to get his fitness right and try to get everything in his diet right and have that year that we've been waiting for the past 5 seasons.
I wonder if he's at a point right now where he's suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out, especially since him and Julian were always, we were always talking about, how, one goes and then the other goes, especially during the summer. And now Julian really is gone. And so Efra's like, oh, shit, I missed the train. Time to get my ass out of here. And what have we been saying? He needs something to light a fire under his ass. Whether that means moving out of here or whether it means like a bigger challenge, whether it's seeing one of his peers, like you said, actually do something that they've been talking about for so long. And it really happens. And he goes to this big, big club. Hey, Infinite, this is your opportunity. Show up. We've been talking about this forever. And even with, whether you think that Zlatan was taking a piss or he's actually was being truthful and saying that Efra was a fantastic player, well, it's time to show up or shut up, man. This is it. How many more opportunities is he going to get?
Yeah, and now he's going to have the perfect opportunity where the team is lacking certain depth pieces. He's going to get a go at it. And what a perfect opportunity. And what a benefit it would be for us if he did become the player that we were hoping for him to be.
I don't think
You still don't see it, right? A lot of people are naysayers, but I mean, now we got to hope with the lack of depth that we have in that wing.
What I'm hoping happens is that he just sees the level of competition and actually rises up to the challenge, because with Memo playing wide, hopefully Diego Costa playing like he did the last 8 weeks of the season, Tyler Boyd shouldn't be coming off the field unless he's
Douglas
injured.
Costa.
Huh?
Douglas.
You said Diego?
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, with Tyler Boyd too, I don't see Tyler Boyd coming off the field unless he has a knock or,
Yeah.
some sort of yellow card accumulation. Once he gets in the same mindset, on the same page with his team, ouch.
Oh, he looks nice.
Yeah, bro.
He looked nice.
Another thing though, same thing as Memo. He knows what to do, how to do it. It's just he doesn't know how to fit that into the team yet.
Solid role players. Would you say like a Baggio or a fucking
No,
Ishizaki
I would say
type?
I would say like an Izisaki and a slower
Husidic?
Alessandrini.
Husidic? Oh, let's
No, not Husinich. He's faster. He's above average on speed.
Yeah.
Decent size. He's bigger than Puig. I would say he's like 5'8", 5'9". Solid back and forth. High press.
Hey, but if you could get a Nishizaki coming back, I mean,
Fuck.
we miss that guy. And yeah, another standout, of course, the trio in the midfield. I love how these guys press. I love how they can recover the ball so quickly and how they are so connected to each other. Something we haven't seen in a while.
Dogs, bro. Dogs.
Brugman, beautiful in that CDM. Then you have the Gatto just helping out, and then Pooh's as small as you see him, dude. In the first 2 minutes, already sliding everywhere, having his jersey dirty as shit. I love that.
For the comment section, the little apple hit it right on the mark. He's like another fucking Katai. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Minus the height, because Katai was like 5'10". That was a tall ass number 7.
Yeah.
But yeah. Tyler Boyd is 6 feet. Goddamn.
Adjust them
He
glasses,
didn't look
bro.
that big, but he did play big.
Just
You know,
the glasses.
that's one of the concerns that I have for Jalen Neal.
All right, let's talk about the defense then.
Jalen Neal looked decent. I don't think he's an MLS starter yet. And my biggest criticism of him is he's not aggressive enough.
You think that has to do because of the age he's at?
I think it has to do with the lack of size on the team. I don't think there's anybody showing him how to play big. Because he's a big kid. He's going to get bigger. He has not manned up, you know?
Yeah.
He's still a teenager, and he's one of the biggest players on the team.
Yeah.
I don't think Koulibaly's that much bigger than him to show him how to play big. You know, to show him how to play as aggressive as the defensive mids in front of him.
I mean, you also have players like Martin Cáceres could show him how to be savvy without having that size too. Well, one thing that we do like about Jalen though is that he's very patient passing out from the back. And in this game, you know, we saw the same thing. Do you think he'd be better off paired up with an actual starter like Martin Cáceres? Because
No, not yet.
Mike Gray tweeted this out. Vanny points out that Jalen Neal has received significant minutes this preseason by design, as that he's ready to play at MLS level. The good thing about him getting time now is that we're going to have 50 plus games because of the tournaments that we're going to have this whole season.
I don't see him. I don't see him up to par to play MLS games
Yet.
That can change throughout the season.
Yeah, of course.
But you need him to gain that experience if you go on to play 50, 55 games in 9 months.
Yeah.
You just need that. That's more than 1 game per week that you're averaging.
Well, he's going to get time this season.
Yeah. I just don't think he's MLS starting material. If you have a full roster, I don't think so. At least not yet.
Yet. I would love to see him play a lot this season. Maybe not in certain important matches, but if you could put him out there against Colorado to guard Cabral, I mean, I'm down. Right? What about you, Edgar?
I already said what I said about Jalen Neal. I just hope that he grows into the player we all expect him to go into. The fact, you know, it's interesting what Adrian said about him not being aggressive enough. As you know, in that position, you have to be. You have to be able to go shoulder to shoulder with some people who aren't going to be the nicest, who are going to do, you know, something dirty or underhanded to try to knock you off your game. Yeah. And you have to have that Danny Pena mentality. If you guys don't know who he is, he was one of the original Galaxy players, and that guy was a beast.
He was not meant to be a professional player.
No, he was a monster.
Just
I remember, like when I would talk to him in the locker room, he would always teach me about some of his dirty tactics, and I was like, holy crap! And then later on, I went on to use him. And I'm like, that shit works.
Yeah. One good
But
example is his header. Jalen Neal had a foot on that guy when they back posted maybe like 10 minutes to the game, and he just didn't use his size.
Those are things that he'll learn throughout the season.
But that's an example that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That moment, that ball was in the air long enough that he over jumped it. You know, he could have just shoved that foot out of the way, taken his time, and literally just headed it in.
Yeah.
Is this something where you have him spend an entire weekend with Dan Kalishman up in the woods, like learning how to kill things?
You know, yes.
Yes.
But as an LA Galaxy fan, I'm rethinking my stance, and Jalen Neal should just play already. If we're gonna fucking crash and burn, at least let our future fucking develop.
At least give him a chance.
Yeah, I have nothing against the kid. It's just it doesn't seem like he's aggressive enough, but fuck it, just throw him in there.
Another player we got to see is Chris Mavinga. What you guys think? I didn't really. It was neutral, from 1 to 10 to 5. I haven't really seen him be put in any dangerous position where we're like, an outstanding defensive player or whatever. He was just there, I guess. He didn't mess up. That's one.
I left in the 82nd minute. He came in like in the 79th.
No, he started. Mavinga started. The other center back that started with Jalen Neal.
I was talking about, I think, number 16, Vivi?
Oh, yeah, Vinny.
I was thinking about him. That was the former Toronto FC guy. Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah,
he didn't get caught out of position, communicated well with his wings.
Like Edgar said,
since I was able to hear him.
Yeah, if you're not mentioning the defender, then he's doing his job.
Yeah, bro, he did all right.
Who's that?
Very vocal. You can hear him.
One.
You can hear him? Yeah, I bet you can hear a lot of things.
With the 10 people inside the stadium. One player that does still kind of frustrate me is Raheem Edwards on the left side.
Bro, era penal, way.
Bro. Hey, what's the one thing we said when we were watching him? Like, he's always playing like he's a forward. He's always like running up in there and like...
And
he
Chewy
did it
was
a
saying
lot
earlier,
last year.
Yeah, Chewy was saying it earlier, watching the game earlier, that if there was a team that could counter us with speed, they could really wreck the LA Galaxy on his side. Because he tends to stay up there a lot. I don't know if it's by design of what Vanny's trying to play with, but yeah, he leaves a lot of big spaces on that left wing.
I told you guys after week 1 of last year, he's going to be a liability defensively. And he still is.
There's games that he does show up, though.
What was the biggest complaint we had about him last year was that every time that Julian would go up, he would also go up.
Yeah. Well, now that Julian's not here, Leardon's going to stay home.
But it's because we gotta understand his position, his role too. He purposely is placed out of position by Vanny. Mm-hmm. That little thing he does where he becomes like a defensive center mid when the ball's on the opposite side. That's on purpose.
Yeah.
You don't go out of position that often every game without the coach either benching you or correcting you. You know?
Yeah.
So he still has to figure it out. I like his game. It's still a liability because it's his responsibility first is to defend.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Overall, today's of course, Marco Delgado scored a banger. Second half, I mean,
what a goal, man.
See, look, that's a perfect example of what happened when those two defensive center mids weren't just camped out.
Yeah. And Jovic pulling Mark like that's very important. Because that's going to give everybody else an opportunity to either score or give an assist for somebody else to score. And then that's going to open up Jovic or Chicha in that same position. So
I'm not worried about him not scoring.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
We saw that a lot towards the end of the season last year. Remember, Brugman was scoring some really important goals down the stretch because you had a lot of people hovering around Chicha and Dayar, and then we had these guys step up and score those golazos, and then we just saw them right now with Markey. So it's a good thing to keep in mind as we're going to head into the season, that there's other ways to score goals, not just the offense, right?
And that's why I don't mind it.
Yeah.
After I went fully in on Dejan in that game. After that game that he came off the bench, they were already winning. He got the ball past the half, and he chilena a pass to Efra.
Yeah.
For you to be winning, bro, and commit that much to a pass, like, I'm not worried about you. Like, you're coming here to win. You're coming here to play. You could have easily just passed that back, parked the bus, kept possession, but nah. You took the chance between two defenders to just
bicycle kick, assist. Let's go.
All in.
All right,
One
gentlemen.
of the things that we also got to keep in mind with Dayon is the fact that he's a chess player. So
good chess
anybody
player,
never
bro.
played chess.
I can't even challenge him unless my rating is over 1,000 anymore. I'm serious.
What I was trying to say was, like, he's the kind of person that will make a sacrifice for something that he sees maybe 2 or 3 steps down down the road. So if he's not scoring goals, I mean he's doing
smart.
something else to affect the game.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we have that player
in one
as our-
game, he killed me in under a minute.
dude, and we have him as our backup forward. He does some shit. I mean, I hope Cheech is okay. But if we don't have Chicha for the opener, I mean, I think we're in good hands with Dejan, to be honest.
Yeah, he's the future.
Yeah.
I'm fully
All right,
confident.
boys.
Tell us about that chess game with him.
Bro, he killed me in like 57 seconds. He's rated over 1,300. We've only played a certain amount of times because I can't stay over 1,000 rating.
That was a beast.
So if you're under 1,000, like, I can't. If somebody's like 500, 600, 700, they can't challenge me because I'm too high.
Yeah.
Same thing with him. If I'm not over 1,000, I can't even play a friendly. I really can't. Like, you could go ranked and unranked. I can't even unranked play him unless I get over 1,000.
I think he or his team won a chess tournament during the off season in Europe.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
Anyway, you guys want to go some awards this time or wait for the actual season to start?
Yeah. I don't
No?
know. This
Chewy, what you think? No awards or awards?
No words yet.
All right, cool. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody listening to us, next week, the LA Galaxy take on the Los Angeles Fuchi Club at the Rose Bowl on February 25th on a Saturday. There's been a lot of hype around this game, supposedly. Well, before a lot of the boycott stuff went down. Is there a lot of hype to it now? Do you guys think there's a lot of hype? Because for one, we were already going to go in there outnumbered. They're coming off a first championship. They want to show off their 1 star on their jersey. They were already going to come in numbers. Now with this whole boycott thing, it might be a little lopsided. So how do you guys think it's going to go?
Shit show.
Shit show as in before the match, during the match, and after the match?
I don't know how
all
they're
of
going to
it.
keep 70,000 people on check. If you've been to an event, to the Rose Bowl, there's very limited security in between parking lots.
Oh yeah.
And there's some parking lots that are about a mile away where it's going to be inevitable for large groups of rival jerseys to interact after drinking for I don't know how long.
Damn.
The only reason I want to show up early is because I don't want to sit in traffic for 2 hours to get in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do for 3-4 hours there.
Take a nap.
Nah, I am not going to take a nap.
What about you,
And-
Edgar?
Yeah. If Thursday's event was a good litmus test of how current management is running things, calling this upcoming match a potential shit show is probably being very generous, especially when you multiply, all the parameters and all the logistics that go into a game of this magnitude with so many people uh, being brought in. I always tell my wife, I really, really hate large groups of people because large groups of people will always do stupid things. And especially when you involve alcohol and you have people that automatically already distrust and dislike each other. Oh my goodness. That's why week in, week out, we've been telling people on here, like, if anybody talks, some shit to you, just, play it
Just let it
calm,
go.
play it cool,
Let it go this time around.
let it go, man.
Yeah.
But I think that, like I said, I have very, very low expectations. I think the only positive I see out of all this is just the coverage that Apple is going to provide, the Apple TV, because uh, we've seen it already. We got to see last night's game. I've seen some of the stuff they have on there, and it's somebody asked me, hey, what do you think about it? I was like, I like it. It's streamlined. It's not gimmicky at all. We've seen how in the past some broadcast teams, some network broadcasts will uh, present whether it's hockey or basketball or even soccer, and they'll put so many graphics and so much crap on the screen that it takes away from the game and distracts, or they try to gimmick it or try to dumb it down for the audience. And no, this is very streamlined. It looks clean. They don't try to distract you from what's going on in the field, and the fact that we can switch over to the audio and listen to Joe Tutino call the game, it's a big plus. The only unfortunate thing is I've heard people complain about some audio issues, and the fact that when you switch over to radio, obviously you're going to go from stereo or surround sound to mono audio, and but that's what happens. It's radio. So I think that's the one positive. But other than that, I really don't see anything other than a shock Galaxy win being a large positive there. And even if Galaxy does win, oh my God, if you're a Galaxy fan and you're there and these guys win, good luck getting out of that place without somebody telling you something or doing something or throwing something at you.
I'm ready.
So most of us have.
Are you going, Adrian?
Yeah, I hate the venue.
Oh,
but,
que Dios te bendiga.
but bro,
Put some blessings on you. Bit some holy water at you from here.
crest over everything else.
Yeah, well, so we all have them, the LA Galaxy losing, right? Is
No.
that you don't have them losing?
No.
I don't mind if they lose this first game, but the fact that this first game is at a big venue like that, when your roster is incomplete, facing the defending champs, and then with all the outside stuff, like the boycott and stuff going on, it's kind of bad timing. This roster, from what it looks like, with the, I guess with the new Brazilian kid coming, Tyler Boyd, and maybe other players coming in. If they lose, they lose. You don't win. I think I got this shit from you guys. You don't win the title in the beginning of the season. You make a run towards the end where you could get into the playoffs, and then you make that noise. So right now we have till April 24th to see what this roster could look like. It's unfortunate that we're not going to be able to see it in where I think MLS really started, which is the Rose Bowl. But whose fault is that? Nah.
Hey guys, I have something else I want to ask you guys.
Yes.
I want to ask not just you guys in the studio, but also anybody on YouTube that's following along with that. Who do you think has more pressure on them going into this game to come out with a positive result? You think it would be LA Galaxy because they're the ones that set this up, and they're the team with the history and the 5 stars, and this is our ancestral home? Or do you think it's LAFC who come in with like, hey, look at us, where we got the cup and we have the crowd, and we're gonna stomp you guys into the ground and rub your face in your own dirt? Who do you think has more pressure on them to win this game?
LA Galaxy.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say the Galaxy as well.
I'd like to hear what everyone else has to say. What do you guys think?
Everybody write on the chat. We do have some questions before we take off. A couple questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's get right to them. On Instagram, Dr. Phil 96. When are we getting the winger? Ephra is not it. Do not talk shit about Ephra. No, I'm just playing. I really hope he gets it together. Yeah, I really hope he gets it together and he gives us the most solid year in his career where he can make the jump to Europe and get significant minutes out there and play for his national team. I want that Ephra. I'm hoping we get some version of that Ephra. No? Yeah?
It's
When are we getting
it's
wingers?
just a bonus. I'm banking on Tyler Boyd being the X factor, and with those $4 million from Julian sale, I expect him to sign some DP before Klein comes back.
A winger DP?
Has to be.
Young DP or senior?
Doesn't matter as long as he can come in and make
Just
an
get us
instant
one.
impact.
Firmino, what's up? Let's go get that, Phil.
I wouldn't care if it's Pavon again.
Damn. This Mox. Can y'all have a poll asking if you're a regular supporter boycotting or a regular fan boycotting?
For real.
We'll put a poll up. See what that is. Whoa, we got a special message. What? A special message from Galaxy Outlaws. The supporter groups will host a viewing party for the 25th.
Nice.
Details out soon.
Nice.
Cool.
Bangarang 77. Thoughts on supporters who are actively trying to sabotage the boycott. I will not ask you, Adrian, but I ask Edgar and.
Wait, don't do that to me either.
Damn.
I'm not trying to sabotage it. I just have a very strong opinion about it.
Yeah. Sabotage in what way? Have you guys seen anything that's been of that nature?
I think maybe he's talking about like that guy that had the We Love Klein
We
sign.
Love Klein.
I don't see. I haven't seen any sign of sabotaging.
I think it's mostly like Twitter beef between people.
Yeah, trolling. I think.
No, there was during and after the event, because I was tweeting about what was going on, and I was like posting photos, and not just me, but other people that were there, like Mike Gray and Josh Guessman. We were all posting photos about the protesters, and we were calling it like it is. We said this event didn't go down like we had hoped it would go, and there was somebody who got on. Somebody was saying it was Vicky some name, and it was like definitely some burner account, and they were just going off on everyone. They were calling me out. They were calling out Mike Gray out. They were calling out other supporters and just insults and. No, you're wrong. How dare you? We got to support the team no matter what. Klein, this, Klein, that. And it's just like, all right, whoever this is not who they really are. And they're just there trolling, like 100% trolling.
Yeah.
Honestly,
as far as the guy.
I think some people that spoke.
Go ahead.
I think some people that have spoken for the boycott are actually sabotaging it more than the people that are just straight out against it. Because you have some of these guys who are saying they're going to boycott and then post pictures of their new jersey. Or at the game talking about, oh, I'm with you guys. But then post a picture at the game.
I mean, there's people aren't. Okay, so we had Samoa Bob on here and Manny and Alex from Outlaws saying that people go to the games. I mean, their main thing is just to putting what they feel has been what's wrong with the club out there, and then people just either follow us or which is it's a whole thing. it's frustrating to a lot of parties. Let's just say that. Logan Jones. Go ahead, Edgar.
Sorry, yeah, I was gonna finish my thought. Was I know the guy who brought that sign that says that supported Chris Klein, and I reached out to him. And I told him, hey, you know what? Here on NAG, we're willing to let you have the mic, explain your stance, because we feel that if you want to, support him for whatever reason is, and you have a very solid reason why, then come on and say it. And we're gonna treat you with respect and give you the audience that you need. And never responded.
I wouldn't give that guy the time of day. to explain.
I'm just saying, we get, if somebody's going to be that adamant about something, you got to give them a reason to speak their voice and, say their side. Because as a reporter, I try to make sure I get both sides of the story so that we have a clear idea of what we're talking about so that nobody stumbles over their words or says something that's absolutely wrong. So I was willing to give this guy an opportunity to come forward and say something. He never responded. So that's on him. Now, there's different ways. I've noticed that there's different ways people can boycott or support the protest. And that is whether you don't show up to the games, whether you do show up to the games and are very vocal there, whether you show up and you hold up banners, whether it is that, like Bryant was just, pulling up the poster. We saw a bunch of those at the event, and I ran into the Outlaws, and they're really cool. We were talking about what was going on, and they're like, here's a gift for Eddie, and I was like, all right, if I get a chance, I will bring it down to the studio. I'll give it to Eddie, and unfortunately, Eddie's not there, but the poster is.
I did the same thing.
So obviously, we all support what's going on. Earlier today, I posted how this actually reminded me of how the Dodger fans united and protested against Frank McCourt. And some people were quick to point out, oh, it's not the same thing because this guy had no money. Look, you had an owner who came in, took one of the most important franchises in the sports American history, right? And when it comes to the Dodgers, and they ran them into the ground. And some of the parallels are crazy because this guy cut all the funding he could in order to make a buck. And that meant getting rid of like Dodger scouting in the Caribbean, which the Dodgers had one of the most important scouting departments in Dominican, for example. And he also cut costs wherever he could, where it was in stadium concessions, whether it was in the cleanliness of the stadium, and also in security. And what ended up happening was Brian Stoll got his brains beaten out, in the parking lot. And after that, that's when fans started to really pay attention, and they started boycotting Dodger games, and attendance fell to an all-time low. And what happened? They made such a fuss, and the Dodgers started pulling in such low revenue that Major League Baseball stepped in and they forced Frank McCourt to sell the team. And in the end, the fans won. So it can happen. And we're talking about Major League Baseball. And obviously MLS isn't like Major League Baseball because the teams aren't owned individually. The league owns them. But if you stick to your guns and you make enough noise and enough people do something, you're going to affect some change. I'm pretty sure MLS already knows what's going on. I mean, it's important. I mean, they're not tone deaf. So keep it up, keep it going. And hopefully we get to see some resolution sooner than later so we can go back and doing what we love most, and that's supporting our club at the stadium. But for now, you just got to dig in. And that's the thing. It's like trench warfare. A lot of people forget, that World War I was trench warfare, and it was horrible. It was ugly. And sometimes there are no winners, but at least you fight that fight. And that's what matters the most. So let's go.
Yes, sir. Adrian had to head out, so it's only be just us two answering the questions. But yes, you're right. The boycott.
Whoa, I'm next to you.
Yeah, the boycott is getting noticed. ESPN has picked it up.
On this side.
What Hercules Gomez? What show does it come out on? Well, they picked it up.
Yeah,
it's all over social media. It's picking up traction, and
Cooligans have talked about it.
The Cooligans have
Cooligans.
talked about it. So it's picking up traction, and it's getting heard. There's been reports out of, that they're gonna wait out the supporters, the front office is. Let's see who blinks first. I guess that's what it's gonna have to come down to. And from what my understanding, the supporters are staying strong with this. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it looks like. Maybe this game at the Rose Bowl is not going to be telling of what it really is. Maybe the first game at Dignity Health Sports Park will really feel what this boycott's about in an actual regular season game. So we'll see how this plays out. Of course, I'm going to be watching it at home. I'll be at that viewing party that the supporters are going to have for the 25th, and then we'll see from there. We got Logan Jones with. You wanted to say something, Edgar? Go ahead.
Yeah. Just to give you some perspective on how things start, when the first group of Dodger fans begun that boycott, a lot of people laughed at them because there was only 75 people that showed up to that first protest. And then it got to the point where the Dodgers were pulling in less than 20,000 people into a 56,000 seat stadium.
So
People
the
were
little
literally
things count.
giving their tickets away. I
Little
remember, like,
things keep-
one of my friends gave me tickets to that game, and we were walking up into the stadium. And as we were walking up to the stadium, people were literally giving us tickets, and we were like, we went from like having tickets in the top deck to seats right behind home plate for free.
Well, there it is. Logan Jones with two questions and one comment. Can we all gather the supporter groups to make the protests outside of the games bigger? I believe they're trying their best to do all that. It's just there's a lot of folk that don't want to join them. And that's okay too. But if you are with the boycott and you do want to do something about it, hit up supporters and be like, hey, what's the move? Can we join you guys and stuff like that? Just let them know what's up. He also says, when will our DP winger come in, especially on the left? We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. We won't know till the day of. So there's that. And last, he says, why are the security letting people sit in the supporter groups? That I don't know. I haven't been to the stadium. Spenny just left. Can't ask him. For the most part, from what I've seen, from the actual televised game on Apple to videos on Twitter and Instagram, those sections were pretty empty. So,
yeah. And I mean, if they have season ticket memberships, I mean, it's not like they closed down the area.
yeah.
And it's general admissions to the left and to the right, but your ticket actually says STM. All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Tony, be real. Touch on Vanny's comment about the boycott, possibly not ending and Klein out. Should I read this?
I'll say yeah. Go ahead and read it, and I'll give you my initial thoughts.
Okay. This is from Greg Vanny. Quotes. There's things out there that fans and supporters can impact, and there's things that they probably not going to impact. And so then it just becomes a distraction because it's not going to change anything. I hope that there's a resolution. Hold on, what? I hope that there's a resolution and that the supporter groups who are really important to all of us and the players find the right way, whatever the resolution is, for them to show up, because it's probably not going to be Chris Klein out. So,
my initial thought is that he's one of the only people in the entire organization that is being completely transparent about what's going on, and he's been a straight shooter from the very start. He's also trying to be as realistic as possible because, maybe he's resigned to the fact that no matter what happens, things aren't really going to change in the front office. And right now, one of the things that we've also discussed here is his focus as the manager of this club should be on making sure that these guys are ready, not just for that first game, but for the rest of the season. And who knows what conversations have taken place between him and, Chris Klein or other people in that office that we will never, ever know about. But this sounds like he's frustrated with what's going on. I mean, it's not outward. It's not like so blatantly out there that, he's frustrated, but you could tell that this is definitely in his mind. And he just wants to make sure that his players are in the right headspace so that when they hit the field, they can give results. But yeah, I don't fault Bonnie. A lot of people were immediately jumping, on like, oh yeah, Vanny's with them too. Like, no. Vanny's just trying to run the club. He's trying to, he's trying to do his job. And if this whole protest affects him, it affects the performance of the club, then he's not doing his job. So when we say we support the players, we also got to support the manager. He's just trying to make sure that we have something good to cheer for, something good that makes us proud as fans. But obviously, what's going on in the front office is probably a distraction to him behind the scenes. What do
Yeah.
you think, Chewy? Hello?
I was gonna say exactly what you said.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you hit it right on the note. He's just tired of people asking him about that protest.
Yep.
Who he wants to focus on what's on the pitch. He wants to win. He wants to put this team in the position to win their 6. You know, he doesn't want to hear about what the fuck Klein is doing. And I mean, it might have sounded harsh, but he's just being 100% real. And I don't know if there's going to be any type of compromise. I know Manny and Samoa Bob went on Ellie's house the other day. If you guys want to go check that episode, I think they talked to him about that. But I mean, he just wants to coach. So I get it. Anyway, where was I? Trying to be real. All right. Ex-friend dog. I'm sad for Saturday's game. So are we. Staying trucha. Who was doing the chant in V-Block during the Toronto game? Probably just some casual fans. It wasn't. I don't think there's anything to that, right?
I mean, and at the end of the day, if they want to do it,
Yeah, they're allowed. That's their right. It's fine.
Yeah.
He also
I
asked.
remember,
Okay.
for some people, it might be the only game they can attend the entire season.
Yeah. So there's that too. There's a lot of stuff to this. Like, there's a lot of layers. It's just, I hope we can get something resolved, because I would love to be in a stadium cheering my team on or booing the opposition, whatever it is. It was something that we look forward to doing every weekend, because we got to hang out with people that we like. So,
You know, one of the things that a lot of people don't want to talk about is an inconvenient truth. And we've heard that term before, is that if the longer that this protest and boycott drags out, it's not just going to affect, the people in the front office, but it's going to affect a lot of the people that work at the stadium, the ushers, the people in concessions. If nobody's there, if the crowds are so scarce, people are going to start, front office is going to start looking, hey, where can we cut the corners? Where can we cut the fat? And they're going to start probably like letting people go, whether, it's temporarily or permanently, because nobody's there. And that's where it starts to get a little ugly. So keep that in mind, because like I said, trench warfare is not a pretty thing.
yeah. Oh, and Manny on the chat said that even Telemundo got on top of the boycott. So it's picking up traction. The supporter groups are doing their thing. So hopefully something gets resolved. All right. Staying Tucha also says, thoughts on Galaxy saying supporters are bluffing because 70K tickets have been sold.
Mm-mm.
That's not a bluff?
No.
no. Well, I mean, there's 2 teams, right? I do believe 70,000 tickets have been assigned. I don't know if 70,000 have been sold, but at least 70,000 have been assigned already, right? And there's a big difference, because Galaxy and Levas and AG, there's free tickets that go out, right? To family members, to press, to a lot of different types or a lot of different areas, right? There's free tickets that go out. There's actual seats for those tickets. So, I mean, 70,000 sold? Don't think so. But 70,000, assigned? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If all 70 show up, I don't think that's the case, but we'll see how that goes. Let's see. What is it? Pacoy Metal 818. What are your guesses for how this boycott ends? Shit.
Too hard to even say.
Shit.
That's a hard question. Like I said, there's been times of boycotts and MLS have worked, and sometimes you don't hear about when people tried and it failed. But if Columbus Crew can make something happen, why can't LA Galaxy? But
Okay. And I'm not saying
gonna
they
be
can't.
easy.
It's not going to be easy, but one of the things I was talking to Brian about is Klein is so involved, with the World Cup committee that I'm sure AXS,
Mhm.
right? They're
Yeah.
gonna want to try to be involved with the World Cup for tickets, right? So we might not see something till the World Cup is over.
Or yeah,
I
that
mean,
could
he
be
does have
it
that
too.
extension, which wow, I mean, damn.
I'm still shocked that they haven't been able to talk to media about any of this, or what is it? Refuse to talk to the media about it. I mean, I don't know if we mentioned this last time that I guess Klein refused to do an interview with ESPN about it or somebody about it. Wouldn't it be better just for them to come out and say, "Hey, dudes, I'm not going to go anywhere. This is what the contract section is. This is what I am planning to do." Da 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 da.
But it kind of goes back to what I kept asking you guys, right? Because we don't know this, right? Klein is suspended from soccer operations. So if it's talking about what's going on with a team, soccer operations, right? Is that part of a job? So he doesn't get more penalized. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't publicly or in front of a camera. He might be able to do it closed doors, but in front of a camera, he can't.
How convenient.
Yeah, but I mean that's his scapegoat, right? If
Yeah.
he doesn't want to talk about it publicly in front of camera,
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
suspend it.
Yep. So fuck you, supporters,
Pretty
says
much,
Klein.
Pretty much.
Uli Tuli. MLS season pass thoughts on the Apple. I guess that's what he's trying to say.
One little clunky thing that I saw, which I showed you, right, when
Yeah.
we're trying to replay the game. Besides that, I like it.
It's simple.
Yeah.
The fact that we're gonna be able to have the radio stream for that. I retweeted somebody that asked us about that aspect of it. And hearing Joe Tutino, I mean, that kind of put a smile on our faces yesterday watching it, right? So
We
hopefully we can
noticed
see more of
that it's only on the live. We weren't able to find it on the replay.
Yeah, not on the replay.
Yeah, if anybody has been able to catch that audio on the replay, let us know how you got it. But we could only find the Spanish and the regular English broadcast, not the radio.
Yeah. And gentlemen, that does it for the questions. Before we do leave out of here, Edgar was kind enough to interview 2 people at the Jersey launch party. We will have those reels out for everybody. That way you guys could get a feel from people that were there, how the event went and what they thought about it. You want to premise it, Edgar, or anything like that?
As far as the interviews,
Yeah.
it was just trying to get some an idea of how people felt entering the event. So I spoke to this guy that was in line next to me, and he was talking about what he thought about the event and what he was hopeful for. And then I spoke to somebody after the event and asked them how it went down and got their idea. And so you could see it before and after, and how people's attitudes were before and after the event. But overall, everybody was very optimistic. I won't say positive, but just more optimistic about what was going down. There's something I wanted to share regarding AEG. By the way, if you give me a little bit of time. On Twitter, I'm also a Kings fan, LA Kings fan, and I've talked about how the LA Kings are part of the AEG family. And one of the things I've been noting on here as well is how both the Kings and the Galaxy, they both last won championships in 2014. And to see the direction in which both clubs have gone since then, like I said, the LA Kings have stockpiled a lot of young talent. They have made really big moves within the league. And right now they're just like 1 or 2 players away from being a very solid Stanley Cup contender. And then you look at the LA Galaxy and you look at what's going on, with the front office and the protest and how the team has struggled to maintain a foothold within a league in which they were, considered the flagship. So I got into a conversation with another Kings fan, and we were discussing AEG. And he pointed out some stuff about AEG that I'd either forgotten or that I just never realized. But I'm going to read you some of what he told me. He said, as far as AEG, they're totally in it for the money. Their real motivation has and always is to own and build stadiums around the world. Phil Anschutz bought the Kings as leverage to get Staples Center built in downtown. For years, he had a self-imposed salary cap of $40 million. Well, more competitive NHL teams like the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche were spending north of $60 million. This is why the LA Kings lost big players like Rob Blake and Wayne Gretzky, who ended up wanting to be traded away. And this is one of the things that was a catalyst that brought about the NHL salary cap. And that's the only reason why the LA Kings were able to compete later on. And he said that that Anschutz made it clear that he would not pay what it took for the Kings to be contenders, and that he wasn't willing to make some of these players that are really important to the Kings at the time, some of the highest paid players in the league, even after they won trophies for their position. And that the only reason that the LA Kings ended up being competitive was due to the league imposed salary cap, which AEG was one of the main advocates for. And that Philip Anschutz himself, he didn't even want to grant interviews to the LA Kings reporters or attend games for the first decade he owned the team. That's your owner. And this is how he treated the Kings. And the only reason that the LA Kings are contenders right now is not just because of the salary cap, but because the people they put into these positions as general manager and as club president are former players that really love this team. And they've been working their asses off to make the Kings a contender. So,
well, there you go. That's AEG for you. Thank you to everybody who stayed up late with us. I know we went on a little later than we usually do. I know I'm all off on my game. I can't even speak properly. I'm stumbling on my words. But thank you guys. Make sure to hit that like button right now, because like that like button needs some likes. Also, if you guys are going to watch this later on the audio version, we'll have that out as well. And we encourage you to come to the live so you could talk all that shit on the live chat. It always usually gets fun. From me, Bryant, Edgar, Chewy. Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Bryant Nags. What about you, Edgar?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter as Edgar Nags Chewy.
You guys can find me as Chavez JA, pretty much everywhere. Pretty easy, pretty simple.
And yeah, and then from us three, shout out to Eddie. Hope you get better, dude. I know you're going through a little rough patch right now with your health, but yeah, hopefully you get better, dude. And happy birthday, and
yeah,
you know, we'll be waiting here for you, bro. So yeah, with that, from Chewy, Edgar, myself, Bryant, we are out of here. Keep on nagging.
Keep on